So as of recording this video, we know what the meta is for Warzone. It's pretty much settled down at the moment until we get some new weapon adjustments. We know the Bren, the MP40 are some of the more popular guns inside Warzone, but if you want to try something different, then this video is going to be going over the 6 most underrated guns inside Warzone. If you do enjoy content like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we try to reach our goal 50k subscribers. Also click that link in the description down below as we do post other game content over there as well. Now, the idea for this video came from the Warzone ranked website, which is what you'll see in the background right here. Now, the camera might be covering a little bit of this, but what you can see here is pretty much the top picked guns in the game. Now, as you can see here, we've got the MP40, which is a pick ratio of 15%, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's because it is the best SMG in the game, regardless of any of its nerfs, all that kind of stuff. It's just too good right now, and I've made tons of videos on this gun going over the stats and stuff, so you can already check those out. The Bren, once again, super solid gun, super low recoil, all that good stuff. Again, 11% picked, ridiculous. STG, 7% picked, ridiculous. Car 98, Swiss, again, they're up the top there because they've been popular for such a long time. But again, I would say the top 20 guns are probably the most used guns inside Warzone at the moment. And this video is actually going to be going over all those guns that are kind of below 20 but are still really good to use inside Warzone, because like I said, there's a ton of guns in this game now. There's over 100 weapons to choose from, and it can't be that all these other guns are absolutely terrible compared to the ones at the top. So at number 6, we have the Krig, and the Krig was such a popular gun for such a long time whilst the Cold War integration was taking place, because it was super low recoil. Then it got a nerf, but then it was still a pretty solid gun. And right now, consider people are still using that M13 as a super low recoil option, I do still think the Krig is a very good gun as well. It could be in that same mix with the M13, and the M13 is now in the top 20 picked weapons, and I don't see why the Krig can also be in there as well. Again, it's really low recoil with this build right here, so agency suppressor, mil-spec barrel, which is the final barrel, axial free time, 60 round mags, and field agent grip. But like I said, it's super low recoil, and it is getting picked more and more, so if you do check it out on Warzone Ranked, it's actually getting higher up in the list now, so make sure you're ahead of the curve using the Krig 6. At number 5, we have the Owen gun, and this is another gun that's gaining popularity really quickly. You can see it on Warzone Ranked. Week on week, this is climbing the ranks, and the reason for that is because the ground loot is so solid on this gun. So you've probably already leveled it up or tried it out to an extent to see how good this gun is. But the main issue with this gun is probably the magazine, so you do need to use this mag. The faster fire rate mags are always the best when it comes to SMGs for Vanguard. It's going to give you a faster TTK, so it doesn't actually con your actual damage, it cons your bullet velocity, range, and bullet penetration. So you're still getting the higher damage profile, but you just get a faster fire rate, which you do need to make this gun any sort of viable as an SMG. On top of that, you do need the recoil booster on there, but the issue is, of course, the mag is covering half of your screen, which is the only annoying thing about this gun. I don't know why they didn't just put it on the bottom of the weapon. I understand they're probably guns modeled exactly like this, but for the sake of the game, we want the mags on the bottom so we're not taking up like 90% of our screen. Hollow point on there because the extra limb damage will help out, but you can also use incendiary if you like. It doesn't really make too much of a difference to that overall weapon's performance. Groove grip I do think is the best when it comes to Vanguard weapon movement. Again, with steady, I do like Vanguard weapon movement. When you use this attachment, it's going to give you that strafing speed that you need whilst firing. Brace doesn't work at the moment. Then we've got quick, which gives you faster sprint speeds. We've got the remove stock, which is going to give you faster overall movement once again. Does con your recoil a little, but again, this is an SMG. And you can either use the Carver foregrip, skeletal grip, and then that is the best build for the Owen gun. Like I said, super solid gun. Highly recommend trying it out. If you land one single headshot, you do get a super fast TTK with this gun. At number 4, we have a gun that used to be one of the best in Warzone once again, and that is the Bullfrog. Now, this gun is super low recoil, and recently I've actually died to this quite a few times, so it is getting a bit more popular, but it's not in the top 20, and I don't know why, because it's been such a good gun and such a reliable gun for a very long time. The build changed a little bit because of the stock nerfs to the overall movement, but the build that I would recommend now is the one you see on screen. So sound suppressor for the sound suppression, and you also get the overall faster sprint to fire and ADS times. Task Force barrel now, because you do need that strafing speed off of the barrel instead of the stock, because the stocks did get nerfed. Bruiser grip is the best for movement now on Cold War weapons. the 65 round mag, or you can go for the base mag and maybe choose an optic if you really wanted to, but I'd rather have those larger mags. It doesn't con your ADS or anything like that anyway. And then the serpent wrap to give you the faster ADS time. Now you could go for a stock for a faster sprint to fire or something like that, but make sure you don't use any of the last two stocks. They just don't help out enough anymore. And you could go for an optic if you wanted to, but this is my personal favorite build for the Bullfrog. This is like a really good sniper support gun. Close range, it's great. It's got good movement. On top of that, long range is super easy to control when it comes to recoil. The iron sights are super clean now as well. At number 3, we have a gun that I thought was going to get super popular, especially after the nerf to the Swiss and the Kar 98, and we have the SPR. And the SPR is a super solid weapon. It's got good bullet velocity. It's got one of the best flinch resistances on the base weapon, or the base kind of build for the weapon, which is what you're seeing on screen just now. In the entire game at the moment. And on top of that, it hits pretty hard too, so I'm actually quite surprised not a lot of people are actually using this gun. The ADS time is actually pretty solid too, and the only kind of reason people are still using the Swiss and the Kar 98 and the Swiss and the Kar 98 is because they kind of got buffed a little bit again. But if they do get nerfed again, the SPR is definitely going to be the way to go, because it's overall just like a solid sniper, and I'm surprised it's not in that top 20 as well, because it is just a really good overall gun. And for all the Modern Warfare fans out there, if you do want to try out a sniper rifle that's slightly different to what you're using at the moment, the SPR is definitely the way to go. Mono suppressor, SPR 26-inch barrel, tac laser, solo zero, not the variable zoom, because you do get a slightly faster ADS with the solo zero, and then the normal mags for the faster bullet velocity, and that is the meta build for the SPR. At number 2, we have a gun that I didn't really think was going to be that powerful inside Warzone until I died to it recently, and I died to it repeatedly, might I add. This is such a good gun inside Warzone right now. I probably will be making a gameplay video on the C58 anyway, but this is a really, really good gun. It's got super low recoil still, even though it did get a bit of a recoil nerf. But it's still one of the easier guns to control inside Warzone, and it hits just as hard as that Cold War AK in my opinion. So I do think it should be in that list of those top 20 weapons. Plus the bullet velocity on the Cold War guns is just way better than any Vanguard weapon right now. So if you feel like your shots are not connecting properly, try out some of the Cold War weapons, try out the C58. It's a solid gun to use inside Warzone right now, very easy to control as well. And you can even get a 55 round drum mag, which is absolutely insane considering the damage per mag on this gun as well. But agency suppressor, task force barrel for the recoil control, axial free times, 45 round mags, I think is more than enough, but you can go for the 55 if you really want to. And the field agent grip is the build for this gun. But like I said, I've died repeatedly to this gun inside Rebirth, and the reason for it is the bullet velocity on these Cold War guns are just superior to the Vanguard ones at the moment. And at number 1, we have the Lapa SMG. This gun is getting slept on an absolute ton. People are still using the OTS. I have no idea why people are still using the OTS when this gun actually kills faster. And if you've already leveled it up because it's a Cold War gun, then be using the Lapa instead of the OTS. This gun should easily be in that top 20. This is like the most underrated gun in the entire game right now. This is like 60th picked. And it should definitely be like in the top 10 in my opinion, never even mind top 20. So if you haven't tried out the Lapa recently, this gun is absolutely solid at close range. You get the Cold War movement, which is really good. Obviously, of course, you can't really use the stocks on there anymore because they don't really help with the strafing speeds. But other than that, this is the only other SMG that can really compete with that MP40. I've killed so many MP40 players using the Lapa, and it's super solid, especially with this build right here. So sound suppressor for the sound suppression, bullet velocity, sprint to fire time, and ADS times. You want to stay away from the agency suppressor now. It's just not going to help you out that much. BR compact barrels is going to give you the best possible TTK on the Lapa SMG. Then you want to use the Microflex LED optic. You need this optic on here to be accurate with this gun, or any other optic you prefer, but Microflex works perfectly for me. 40 round mags or 50 round mags, whatever you prefer. Personally, I've been recently trying out the 40 round mags, and that is just because it is a slightly better ADS time, so I prefer it. But you can go for the 50 rounds if you feel like you're missing a few shots, and then bruiser grip for the faster overall movement speeds. But like I said, this gun is so solid right now. Definitely the only gun that can compete with the MP40, and no one's even using it. So if you're looking for a new SMG to try out and you're fed up with the MP40, try out the Lapa. Is a solid gun to use. So there we have it. Those are 6 underrated guns that are currently inside Warzone that can definitely compete with some of the meta weapons in the game right now. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, don't forget to sub to the channel as we're trying to reach our goal of 50k subs. And also click that link in the description and subscribe to our second channel. And thank you very much for watching.